Okay, so SpongeBob is a children's cartoon that aired on Nickelodeon in 1999. The show centers around a sponge named Bob, who's kicked out of his parents' house and forced to live on his own at the age of 13. He gets a job with the Krusty Krab after discovering his knack and passion for fry cooking. He's so good that he's able to defeat the god of the ocean in a burger flipping contest, but I'm getting ahead of myself. After saving all of his money up, SpongeBob buys a condo in the shape of a pineapple. In his neighborhood, SpongeBob meets a sea star named Pat Rick, and they become the bestest of friends. They blow bubbles, they eat ice cream, they worship a dancing peanut for corn's sake. They have deep, in-depth discussions about their political views while playing Super Smash Bros. One day, Bob finds out that he might have feelings for Pat beyond just friendship, so he goes to his Uncle Sherm's place to reflect on his decision and smoke a lot of weed. I mean, how else would Bob be so perpetually happy and not be high? After a 2-season-long period of 7 months, Bob returns to Shell City to confess his love for Pat. Their relationship arc kicks off, and after 5 episodes, they get married. For the honeymoon episode, Bob and Rick travel to the Amazon rainforest with their cousin Squid, who's the warden of the Shell City jail. In the episode, the three get lost, until Bob and Rick get rescued by the FBI, and Squid remains in the jungle and goes crazy until he travels back in time via his miniature time machine in his pocket. Meanwhile, as Bob and Rick are being brought back to Shell City via helicopter, they are discovered as being a married couple, and also gay. And the citizens of Shell City start to riot. You see, fish are very homophobic, as it turns out. Take Finding Nemo and Dory, for example. The titular Dory is voiced by Ellen DeGeneres, who's a lesbian. And what does Dory's character center around? Being disabled with short-term memory loss. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Pixar depicts gay fish as mentally challenged. Case closed. People hate gay fish. Anyway, Bob and Rick are forced to divorce, but they spend the entire season 5 finale protesting their love for each other until they finally get their way and remarry at the end of season 5. The series at this point starts to loosen the storylines. The entire plot after season 5 is pretty much completely episodic. Rick and Bob get kidnapped by Plankton and Sandy Cheeks, who work in the Krusty Krab and have plotted to steal Chum Patty's secret recipe. They freed Sea Jesus from imprisonment just for Sea Jesus to kill everything and destroy the entire ocean. And they even joined a marching band. One of the most praised episodes of the anime is when Mr. Squid shows up out of nowhere and tries to kill Spungar and Rick Star. Turns out, Squid wanted revenge after he was left in the Amazon jungle for 3 hours. He traveled to the future to overthrow the North Korean government and gain access to all the weapon systems and nukes and shit. Fortunately, through the power of love and some other thing I can't think of, Rick and Mr. Bob defeat Squid by sitting on him. Unfortunately for the fans, this is the last episode of the series, but you can't say they didn't end on a high note. With all that said, here's my review of SpongeBob. I give the story a 4 out of 10. There were way too many plot holes for my liking, like, why does Gary make cat noises despite being a snail? And why is Mermaid Man so ugly? I give the characters a 5 out of 10. There were a lot of inconsistencies with how the characters acted and their personalities throughout the seasons. For example, why, despite being a snail, does Gary sound like a cat? And why does Mermaid Man look so ugly despite being a human being? I give the humor a 3 out of 10. Too much toilet humor and lol random humor for my liking. The only truly funny episode was the one where Bob was waiting for that toy to arrive in the mail. That's some funny stuff right there. I give the graphics a solid 7 out of 10. The show runs at a jaw-dropping 20 frames per second, and it's in a jaw-dropping 420p resolution. Honestly, this is the kind of show you show people that are like, cartoons aren't real art, you silly peasant! Lastly, I give the score a 2 out of 10. Even though this show was composed by the legendary Jonathan Coulton, David Bowie, and Alex Ebert, this wasn't their greatest work. It boils down to too many ukuleles. I know the show takes place in Hawaii, but just too many ukes. With all that said, I give Bob Sponge Squarebutt a solid 9 out of 10.